When I was rising, there was this notion that there were certain human skills that felt like they weren't formally taught to me, such as self-awareness. Roughly 90 million women in North America are going through this phase in their lives. And today we need far more empathy and compassion in our workplaces. Our women leaders do stand strong in that space.
In 2026, the global epidemics of stress, burnout, and disconnection are the biggest threats to productivity. To lead in this environment, organizations must move beyond traditional training and invest in proactive resilience.
Get yourself tested. Ask for the right tests. Look at the numbers, get informed, and make sure that those numbers are being supported with the right type of therapy.
Hello everyone, this is Kripa Anand and welcome to the She and Success podcast, powered by She and Success Business Magazine, a platform dedicated to spotlighting the voices, strategies and journeys of women leaders and entrepreneurs who are shaping Canada's business and policy landscape. Today we are discussing the human side of business growth. In 2026, the global epidemics of stress, burnout and disconnection are the biggest threats to productivity. To lead in this environment, organizations must move beyond traditional training and invest in proactive resilience and human skill education. Joining us today is Vaishali Joshi, founder and CEO of oraHuman and BeyondBold. A multi-award nominated mental health advocate and global change leader, Vaishali has spent over 2 decades transforming leadership cultures across 8 different industries. She is here to talk about the oraExperience and why the well-being of midlife women is the next frontier for corporate success. So before further ado, let's welcome this special guest. Vaishali, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you here one more time back with us.
Thank you, Kripa.
Now, Vaishali, for all the listeners, majority of them, have been following your story. But for the new ones who have joined us, let's start with understanding. For all the listeners, what is BeyondBold? And go ahead and explain the importance of it specifically in today's time.
Sure, I'll share some stats with you.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those women that actually went through a health journey quite ignorantly in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I was, physically active, eating well. That was just my style.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel a lot of those symptoms of hormonal change. And there's a drastic amount of change that happens in perimenopause. What I did witness is fellow co-workers leaving meeting rooms sometimes, very high power women and leaders, and hiding themselves in their offices and fanning themselves or bringing 3 sets of clothes to the office, or I'd bump into them in the washroom and they're washing up their makeup for the second time that day.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how bad this could get
Yeah.
until it started happening to me, but it didn't happen until I was past my perimenopause. And so I feel as if there was this lack of awareness in the workplace. There was lack of support in the workplace. So today I'll share some stats with you.
Right.
These are 2025 stats. Roughly 90 million women in North America are going through this phase in their lives. A lot of them are our aspiring or are our women leaders. And today we need far more empathy and compassion in our workplaces. Our women leaders do stand strong in that space.
Yeah.
90 million women, 1.1 billion women around the world, when you think about that. As well, the fact that despite this being something that has been around since the beginning of time, almost 45% of women today feel that in their workplaces, there is no support system or conversation around this subject. So what's happening is you're doing masking and you're also expected to stand up the same way as you used to, right? And they're struggling with that. The highest growth in suicides happens to be in this demographic right now. And only about 25% of us actually feel like we're really empowered with the right information, which is staggering. Mm-hmm. So I started this because I myself was in this situation going, I need to learn more. I have been misdiagnosed. I wasn't pointed the right way at the right time. And I want to start navigating more younger women into that direction sooner.
So firstly, I'd like to thank you, from the entire She and Success team for talking about this and also actively doing something about this, right? you educated me and all of our listeners today with some of the stats that you mentioned. Elevating the well-being of midlife women, it's not just an equity issue. It is a strategic move to, preserve your organization's highest level of expertise. Thank you so much for sharing that. When you started oraHuman, what was the vision? Where did you want to take that? And now we're having this conversation. You mentioned in the beginning that it's been a year since we had this conversation, right? So from there to today, what is the difference?
So our program, the oraExperience, was launched in 2023. And when we last met, it was being delivered and is still being delivered to aspiring and rising leaders. We built that program, a 6-week program for workplaces and for professionals who really wanted to get a handle over their stress, their burnout, and also their human skills so that they could further their leadership journey. And so we've had a number of different types of professionals go through that journey over the last 3 years. And I'm proud to say that the program's been taken by medical staff as well as corporate professionals, tech professionals, and it's been given a good testing. So we brought that into people's lives. And then through that journey, I began to observe how many middle-aged women were struggling with awareness of their health. And that's what has fed our vision for Beyond Bold now.
Wow. I think, shifting from a reactive crisis culture to a proactive resilience culture is what, defines success in 2026 specifically. What's your story? How did you come to, doing what you're doing today? And what's the importance of mental health and well-being when it comes to women's health that, shaped your journey today?
You've pointed out the epidemic that we're living in right now. For me, my journey was a rising corporate leader. As a woman, traveled extensively, got to work in amazing organizations, large organizations with cross-functional teams across the world. And I think when I was rising, there was this notion that there was certain human skills that felt like they weren't formally taught to me, but I was kind of picking them up innately somewhere, by accident sometimes, such as self-awareness, for example. And so when I was going through that journey, I realized how much more stress professionals like myself go through because they haven't been actually taught certain things. Our education systems were not teaching how to be mentally agile, for example, how to be curious, how to demonstrate compassion a certain way. So we never really knew how to navigate through different cultures like that. So my journey is 30 years of that experience plus 20 years of falling into enough holes and then realizing, I need to proactively manage my own stress levels and going into the space of somatic practice. And so 20 years of teaching that alongside growing my corporate career come together is how oraHuman came to be.
To the CEOs and HR leaders watching, in 2026, your midlife women leaders are likely your most experienced and valuable assets. Yet, they are often the most underserved. If you want to show your women leaders that you truly care, you need to move beyond generic wellness programs. Support them by engaging with platforms like BeyondBold. Your top talent shouldn't have to choose between their health and their career. When you empower them to lead with vitality, your whole organization wins. All right, it's time for a quick break right here, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll look at how organizations can take real action to support and empower their leaders. Stay tuned.
At Purolator, we understand the importance of every delivery, whether it's a document, a special gift, a critical healthcare shipment, or an entire warehouse worth of inventory. Throughout our more than 60-year history, we've honed our expertise to build out a powerful portfolio of logistics services that enable us to deliver on every promise. Whether shipping across town or around the globe, from small and medium-sized businesses to industrial, technology, retail, and healthcare sectors, Purolator serves a diverse array of customers. So no matter what, where, or when you're shipping, Purolator's expertise, experience, and innovative solutions enable us to deliver on your promises.
Welcome back, listeners. Let's dive into how companies can turn intention into impact when it comes to supporting their people. Now, I'd love for you to, share with our listeners that how can companies support Beyond Bold and, the midlife women leaders who are in their immediate circle?
Yeah. So it happened really fast and furious this year. We had a tiny event in Tampa, Florida, quite by accident.
Okay.
And when I started navigating through that event with a number of women. There were doctors in the room, tech professionals in the room, corporate leaders in the room, and they were family women, like women leading families, mothers, in the room. And they all shared this collective story of struggling through, how do I manage my mental and emotional health through the kind of challenges that this environment poses today. As you very well pointed out, we are in a collective state of stress. And so that's why this is taking such a loud voice now. It's not that it wasn't a problem before. Yeah. It's just the environment in which we are now coming of age to lead. So Beyond Bold is comprised of two things. We have education forums that are virtual every month, in which we invite some really great professionals, experts to lead women through certain types of the conversations they should be having about their health. For example, this month we featured pharmaceutical HRT. Next month, we're going to be featuring bioidenticals. And we're really bringing some really highly qualified people to come and speak to women on these platforms. And after that, you're also fully supported by the proper blogs and summaries and so on. That's one aspect of what we do to foster education around this. And the second part of this is the in-person connection that you get in events. So we launched full day events whereby women come together. They may be part of the virtual groups or not. And they come together and they spend an entire day together. And what we do here is not lecture. Yeah. We do not talk. We don't do a lot of sitting down and thinking. We do experiential work. So we do mindfulness. Everything is an experience so that we learn to self-decompress and we learn how to elevate our mental health and become more creative and curious and powerful and reinvent when we are going into this phase, because it's very easy to diminish yourself and disappear into a corner when stuff like this starts to happen.
Well, definitely. I'd also want you to mention if they can find more information on the website, or where can they know more about this?
So you can DM me directly, of course, on all the platforms at Shine with Vaishali. And then there is a QR code for registration as well to attend the event that's coming up this September in Toronto. It's our first flagship inaugural event in Toronto at the Guild Inn Estates in Scarborough. A full day. It's called Your Retreat in Your Backyard. Wow. We have amazing keynotes, TEDx speakers, panels, as well as a day full of fun out in the outdoors as well as indoors. We're looking for corporate sponsors for our event for Beyond Bold. It really furthers our mission, not just in the communities we serve, but also in the organizations where these women leaders work. If you would like to sponsor Beyond Bold, we are looking for sponsors to either gift our attendees for any health-related products or services you offer, or with funding that allows us to stand up some of the best educational forums that we are creating both virtually and in person.
Wow, all of this sounds very exciting, and we'll, of course, mention all the links in the description down below as well for you to check out. Now, making these expert-led resources accessible, I think it is a very timely and a final step in, addressing the global disconnection epidemic. Now, Vaishali, I'm loving this conversation, and definitely I'd love for you to be back. But for now, before we let you go, I asked you this the last time that you were here as well. What is your success mantra as a women leader in Canada today?
I think I'd said last time it was let it flow, was it? I forget. Be the change, maybe.
Yes.
I think in the work of Beyond Bold, I have a different tagline, and it's bring it on.
Oh, wow.
Bring it on. And that's not in an aggressive or aggressive. That's not in an aggressive way. It's really to say, I welcome this change. I welcome it because I'm more educated. I'm more empowered. I know how to play this new game with my health conversation. And with it, I create more impact for women who follow me. And so that's my new mantra for Beyond Bold.
Love the energy there. And Vaishali, also before we let you go, we'd love for you to, give a final advice that you have for all the women who are listening to this, who are going through that burnout, but don't know what to do or, where to start from. What would you tell them and why?
I think I say to women, do what I didn't do. If your doctor points you to a certain direction because you're showing certain symptoms, don't just take that for its stress.
Yeah.
You need to change your lifestyle. You need to change your diet. Yes, there's a bit of all of that. But I suggest you also look better at your hormonal changes.
Mm.
So get yourself tested, ask for the right tests, look at the numbers, get the data, get informed, and make sure that those numbers are being supported with the right type of therapy, as opposed to like me, kind of hitting a wall afterwards and going, oh, I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not just you, Vaishali. I think a lot of women, including myself, we take these symptoms for granted most of the times, right? And taking ourselves seriously is the first step in, going through this journey. Thank you so much for being here, Vaishali. It has been such a pleasure having you back.
Thank you, Kripa.
All right, that was Vaishali Joshi from oraHuman and BeyondBold, a masterclass in how proactive resilience and human-skilled education are the keys to thriving in 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning into the She and Success podcast, powered by She and Success Business Magazine. Be sure to subscribe for more expert insights and visit sheandsuccess.ca for more resources. And lastly, a very special thank you to our exclusive shipping partner, Purolator, for their ongoing commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs and helping them build, grow, and lead successful businesses across Canada. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.